And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to hear from the men at the top of the ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present the 2012 Republican nominee for president, Governor Mitt Romney.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your Eminence, Cardinal Dolan, Mr. President, Governor Cuomo, Mayor Bloomberg, Senator Schumer, Al and Ann Smith, thank you for your invitation. Thank you for your extraordinarily warm welcome. Ann and I appreciate your friendship very, very much. Thank you. Now, Al, you are right. A campaign can require a lot of wardrobe changes. Blue jeans in the morning, perhaps, suit for a lunch fundraiser, sport coat for dinner, but it's nice to finally relax and to wear what Ann and I wear around the house. I'm glad to be able to join in this venerable tradition. Of course, I'm pleased that the President's here. We were chatting pleasantly this evening as if Tuesday night never happened. And I credit that, of course, to the Cardinal. It's taken New York's highest spiritual authority to get us back on our best behavior. I was actually hoping the President would bring Joe Biden along this evening, because he'll laugh at anything. Of course, this isn't a night for serious politics, and it was especially nice to see President Obama and Cardinal Dolan sharing the dais despite their differences. I'm sure the Cardinal has no hard feelings, and we might get an indication of that during dinner to see if the President's wine turns into water. Or for that matter, whether my water turns into wine. I'm pleased to once again have the chance to see Governor Cuomo, who's already being talked about for higher office. A very impressive fellow, but he may be getting a little ahead of himself. I mean, let me get this straight. The man has put in one term as a governor. He has a father who happened to be a governor, and he thinks that's enough to run for president. Of course, we're down to the final months of the president's term. As President Obama surveys the Waldorf banquet room with everyone in white tie and finery, you have to wonder what he's thinking. So little time, so much to redistribute. And don't be surprised if the President mentions this evening the monthly jobs report where there was a slight improvement in the numbers. He knows how to seize the moment, this President, and already has a compelling new campaign slogan. You're better off now than you were 4 weeks ago. You know, with or without all the dignitaries that are here, the Al Smith dinner surely lives up to its billing. Usually when I get invited to gatherings like this, it's just to be the designated driver. Your kind hospitality here tonight gives me a chance to convey my deep and long-held respect for the Catholic Church, have special admiration for the Apostle St. Peter, to whom it is said, "Upon this rock I will build my church." The story is all the more inspiring when you consider that he had so many skeptics and scoffers at the time who were heard to say, "If you got a church, you didn't build that." Of course, only 19 days to go into the finish line. Campaign full of surprises. The debates are very exciting. Just the other night, we had a very fun debate. Candy Crowley was there and was happy to welcome us, but people seem to be very curious as to how we prepare for the debates. Let me tell you what I do. First, refrain from alcohol for 65 years before the debate. Second, find the biggest available straw man and then just mercilessly attack it. Big Bird didn't even see it coming. And by the way, in the spirit of Sesame Street, the President's remarks tonight are brought to you by the letter O and the number 16 trillion. Campaigns can be grueling, exhausting. President Obama and I are each very lucky to have one person who's always in our corner, someone who we can lean on, and someone who's a comforting presence without whom we wouldn't be able to go another day. I have my beautiful wife, Ann. He has Bill Clinton. We got a big dose of the Biden charm last week, I'll tell you that, in his debate with Paul Ryan. I'm not sure that all that carrying on had quite the effect that Joe intended, because afterwards I heard from the Federal Election Commission. From now on, whenever he appears on TV, there's a recording of me afterwards that says, "I'm Mitt Romney and I approve this message." Of course, rules of fairness have to be enforced, because what other safeguard do we have besides the press? And now, I never suggest that the press is biased. I recognize they have their job to do, and I have my job to do. My job is to lay out a positive vision for the future of the country, and their job is to make sure no one else finds out about it. Let's just say that some in the media have a certain way of looking at things. When suddenly I pulled ahead in some of the major polls, what was the headline? Polls show Obama leading from behind. And I've already seen early reports from tonight's dinner. Headline, Obama embraced by Catholics. Romney dines with rich people. Of course, the president has put his own stamp on relations with the church. There have been some awkward moments, like when the president pulled Pope Benedict aside to share some advice on how to deal with his critics. He said, "Look, Holy Father, whatever the problem is, just blame it on Pope John Paul II." Of course, the president has found a way to take the sting out of the Obamacare mandates for the church. From now on, they're going to be in Latin. We have very fundamental and sound principles that guide both the president and me. He and I, of course, feel the pressures and tensions of a close contest. It'd be easy to let a healthy competition give way to the personal and the petty, but fortunately, we don't carry the burden of disliking one another. Our president has had some very fine and gracious moments. Don't tell anyone I said so, but our 44th president has many gifts and a beautiful family that would make any man proud. You can oppose... In our country, you can oppose someone in politics and make a confident case against their policies without any ill will. And that's how it is for me. There's more to life than politics. At the Al Smith Foundation and the Archdiocese of New York, you show this in the work you do, in causes that run deeper than allegiance to party or to any contest of the moment. No matter which way the political winds are blowing, what work goes on day in, day out by this organization and you. You answer with calm and willing hearts, in service to the poor, in care for the sick, in defense and the rights of conscience, and in solidarity with the innocent child waiting to be born. You strive to bring God's love into every life. I don't presume to have all your support, and on a night like this, I'm certainly not going to ask for it. But you can be certain that in the great causes of compassion that you come together to embrace, that I stand proudly with you as an ally and friend. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's but only one way to introduce our next speaker, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, please take your seats. Otherwise, Clint Eastwood will yell at them. Thank you to Al and Nan, to Your Eminence, Governor, Ms. Romney, Governor Cuomo, Mayor Bloomberg, Senator Schumer, all the distinguished guests who are here. In less than 3 weeks, voters in states like Ohio, Virginia, and Florida will decide this incredibly important election, which begs the question, what are we doing here? Of course, New Yorkers also have a big choice to make. You have to decide which one of us you want holding up traffic for the next 4 years. Tonight, I am here with a man whose father was a popular governor and who knows what it's like to run a major northeastern state and who could very well be president someday, and I'm hoping it is Andrew Cuomo. This is the third time that Governor Romney and I have met recently. As some of you may have noticed, I had a lot more energy in our second debate. I felt really well rested after the nice long nap I had in the first debate. Although it turns out millions of Americans focused in on the second debate who didn't focus in on the first debate, and I happen to be one of them. I particularly want to apologize to Chris Matthews. 4 years ago, I gave him a thrill up his leg. This time around, I gave him a stroke. Of course, there's a lot of things I learned from that experience. For example, I learned that there are worse things that can happen to you on your anniversary than forgetting to buy a gift. So, take note, gentlemen. Now, win or lose, this is my last political campaign. So I'm trying to drink it all in. Unfortunately, Mayor Bloomberg will only let me have 16 ounces of it. But that's okay. I'm still making the most of my time in the city. Earlier today, I went shopping at some stores in Midtown. I understand Governor Romney went shopping for some stores in Midtown. And it brought back some great memories because some of you know I went to school here in New York, had a wonderful experience here. Used to love walking through Central Park, loved to go to old Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built, although he really did not build that. I hope everybody's aware of that. It's been 4 years since I was last at the Al Smith dinner. And I have to admit some things have changed since then. I've heard some people say, Barack, you're not as young as you used to be. Where's that golden smile? Where's that pep in your step? And I say, settle down, Joe. I'm trying to run a cabinet meeting here. He does smile when he says it, though. Tomorrow, it's back to campaigning. I visit cities and towns across our great country, and I hear the same thing everywhere I go. Honestly, we were hoping to see Michelle. And I have to admit, it can be a grind. Sometimes it feels like this race has dragged on forever. But Paul Ryan assured me that we've only been running for 2 hours and 50-something minutes. Of course, the economy is on everybody's minds. The unemployment rate is at its lowest level since I took office. I don't have a joke here. I just thought it would be useful to remind everybody that the unemployment rate is at the lowest it's been since I took office. And we're getting to that time when folks are making up their minds. Just the other day, Honey Boo Boo endorsed me. So that's a big relief. Ultimately, though, tonight's not about the disagreements Governor Romney and I may have. It's what we have in common, beginning with our unusual names. Actually, Mitt is his middle name. I wish I could use my middle name. And even though we're enjoying ourselves tonight, we're both thinking ahead of our final debate on Monday. I'm hoping that Governor Romney and I will have a chance to answer the question that is on the minds of millions of Americans watching at home. Is this happening again? Why aren't they putting on The Voice? Now, Monday's debate is a little bit different because the topic is foreign policy. Spoiler alert, we got bin Laden. Of course, world affairs are a challenge for every candidate. After, some of you guys remember, after my foreign trip in 2008, I was attacked as a celebrity because I was so popular with our allies overseas. And I have to say I'm impressed with how well Governor Romney has avoided that problem. Now, just so everyone knows, in our third debate, we won't spend a whole lot of time interrupting each other. We will also interrupt the moderator just to mix things up. And finally, let me say that I've been doing some thinking, and I've decided that for our final debate, I'm going to go back to the strategy I used to prepare for the first debate. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make Axelrod sweat a little bit. Get him a little nervous. In all seriousness, I couldn't be more honored to be here this evening. I'm honored to be with leaders of both the private and public sectors, and particularly the extraordinary work that is done by the Catholic Church. You know, it's written in Scripture. It's written in Scripture that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope. This country's fought through some very tough years together, and while we still have a lot of work ahead, we've come as far as we have, mainly because of the perseverance and character of ordinary Americans. And it says something about who we are as a people that in the middle of a contentious election season, opposing candidates can share the same stage. People from both parties can come together. Come together to support a worthy cause. And I particularly want to thank Governor Romney for joining me because I admire him very much as a family man and a loving father. And those are two titles that will always matter more than any political ones. So, we may have different political perspectives, but I think, in fact, I'm certain that we share the hope that the next 4 years will reflect the same decency and the same willingness to come together for a higher purpose that are on display this evening. May we all, in the words of Al Smith, do our full duty as citizens. God bless you. God bless your families. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
We turn to our host for closing remarks and benediction. Ladies and gentlemen, the Archbishop of New York, His Eminence Timothy Michael Cardinal Tolan.
It does traditionally fall to the host of this enjoyable evening, the Archbishop of New York, to call it a night. So thank you everybody for your gracious company this beautiful evening. What a unique honor and joy to welcome and thank President Obama and Governor and Mrs. Romney. Our two candidates claim that both of your parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, are big tents containing extraordinarily diverse, even contrary opposite people and groups. Well, you two don't have anything over the Catholic Church. We got both Biden and Ryan, all right, as Catholics. Governor Romney, thank you for being up here sitting next to me, although I must confess that I was secretly hoping that the Republican candidate might be Governor Christie, because I sure would have looked a lot better sitting next to him than you. And Mr. President, I trust you'll be able to report to Mrs. Obama that I ate my vegetables and salad. If she had been First Lady instead of Mamie Eisenhower when I was growing up in the 50s, I wouldn't be in the shape I'm in, all right? As many of you may know, I just returned from Rome a couple hours ago, where I'm participating in the Synod of Bishops, and thanks to Mr. Mark Zuckerman's jet, I'll be able to return to Rome right after the conclusion of this evening's meal. By the way, just before I left Rome this morning, Pope Benedict XVI pulled me aside and asked me to deliver a personal special message to both candidates. Mr. President and Governor Romney, do you know what the Holy Father asked me to tell the two of you? Well, neither do I, because he said it in Latin, and I don't understand a word of it. When you think about it, folks, only this Al Smith dinner could bring together two men of the same calling who disagree on almost everything, both of whom think they are the world's experts on everything, who don't usually even like being in the same room together. Roger Ailes and Chris Matthews. That's just amazing. The Al Smith dinner, in thanking all of you for your presence and support, might I suggest that this annual dinner actually shows the United States of America and the Catholic Church at their best. Think about it. Here we are in an atmosphere of civility and humor, hosted fittingly by a church which claims that joy is the infallible sign of God's presence. Men and women, young and old, of every ethnic and racial background, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, Catholics, Protestants, Jews, Latter-day Saints, people of no particular creed, people of wealth, yes, but some folks here as well who barely get by, guests from Westchester and the Bronx, Dutchess County, and Staten Island, grateful all of us to be people of faith and loyal Americans, loving a country which considers religious liberty our first and most cherished freedom, convinced that faith is not just limited to an hour of Sabbath worship, but affects everything we do and dare and dream. Privileged this evening to be in the company of two honorable men, both called to the noble vocation of public service, whose love for God and country is surpassed only by their love for their own wives and children, and who, as happy as I hope they are to be here with us this evening, would probably much rather be at home with Michelle, Ann, and their families, and that speaks volumes. All of us reverently recalling a man of deep Catholic faith and ringing patriotism who had a tear in his Irish eyes for what we would call the uns of the world, the unemployed, the uninsured, the unwanted, the unwed mother, the innocent, fragile, unborn baby in her womb, the undocumented, the unhoused, the unhealthy, the unfed, the undereducated. Government, Al Smith believed, should be on the side of these uns. But a government, he also believed, partnering with family, church, parish, neighborhood, organizations, and community, never intruding or opposing, since when all is said and done, it's in God we trust, not ultimately in government or politics. Al Smith, the happy warrior, the warrior on behalf of the uns who were so close to Jesus, or to the Native American Kateri Tekakwitha, or to the angel of the lepers of Hawaii, Sister Mary Ann Cope, both women of New York, whom this Sunday Pope Benedict will declare saints. So tenderly close to Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who reminded us always, remember, of the five-finger gospel. Remember what she said? As often as you do it to one of these, the five-finger gospel, the least of my brethren, you do it to me. God bless. Here's my closing benediction, simple but heartfelt this evening. God bless the memory of Al Smith. God bless those uns. God bless the Al Smith Foundation in this Archdiocese of New York, which continues his brave solicitude for those uns. God bless all of you for helping them this evening. God bless our two candidates. God bless America. And thank God for this great evening. Good night and God bless. Thank you. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a warm, rousing ovation for our speakers, our cardinal, and our foundation board. Thank you.